Welcome, ADEEL. Thank you for coming.
You're always welcome, Cynthia.
I have a few questions to ask you today. I want to know what's hot now in the market in Dubai and if you can tell us more about the upcoming projects here.
So, have you heard about the upcoming communities in the market? Like, there are a few developers launching multiple communities. There are a few launches coming up, which everybody have to know about. Recently, demand of townhouses and villas are the demand of villas and townhouses is going very high, and just because of that, developers are bringing new communities in the market. So the location, which is very much closer from the Al Maktoum airport. So recently, Dubai government have officially announced the construction, which is going to be started very soon for the Al Maktoum airport. It is going to be the world's largest airport. Okay,
Wow.
and it will be operational within 10 years from now. So obviously, Dubai has plans to offer residential communities and residential units closer from the airport. So there are multiple communities coming up right next to the airport. And I feel that this is a very good opportunity for the new investors or even for the seasoned investors to jump in and take the benefit and take advantage, especially from the first launches in those communities. Two main developers are playing a major role in bringing those communities. So MR is having almost 3 communities coming up right next to the Al Maktoum airport, which we have to look at. And then DOMINIC community is coming up over there right next to the Al Maktoum airport as well. And not only that, if you go like 5 minutes away or 10 minutes away from Al Maktoum airport, on the same street, which is Zayed bin Al Nahyan street, there are other communities are coming up as well. One from Majid Al Futan, which is obviously very popular in the market, plus Aldar community is coming up over there, and there is one more Miras community coming up over there. So you can really see that Dubai is expanding. So now we are not, Dubai is not sticking to one location or one place, or we are not stuck to only Dubai Hills or District 1 or downtown or Dubai Creek. We are expanding across the city, and obviously now you will see the trend of investors moving towards that area.
And why is that?
All major communities are located there. So starting from Arabian Ranches 1, 2, DOMINIC Hills, Nishama Town Square, Bilal Al Gaf, Jumeirah Golf Estate, Sports City, Victory Heights, Expo City, Dubai South, MR South, all communities are located in that area. So if you are looking for investing in a property which is actually going to be used by Dubai residents but not the tourists, you are going to be investing in those areas. And honestly, the price point, I mean, officially the developers they did not announce the communities nor the prices, but as far as what I think the price per square foot will be approximately 1,000 dirham per square foot in those communities, and you can expect an entry ticket of a townhouse starting from 2 million more or less. So in my experience, whenever you enter in a project on a beginning stage, because if you are thinking that you are going to buy in a community which is in the last phase of a community, obviously the developer would increase 10% price on every single phase. So if you are buying in the last phase, so basically you are buying at the highest price point already. So expecting a good capital gain from such a property, I don't think so. You should be expecting good capital gain. But whereas if you are entering into a community or into a master plan in the first phase, I think that is the point where you should be making maximum capital gain. So you are exposed to better opportunity in terms of buying something which is already completed. So that's why in today's market, buying on Palm Jabal Ali makes more sense than buying on Palm Jumeirah. So same goes with, for example, MR Oasis. Now today, MR Oasis is offering you a 5-bedroom with 10,000 square feet built up area for what? 15 million. Whereas in Dubai Hills or Emirates Hills, which are equivalent communities of MR by itself, such sized villas are being offered in the market from 45 to 50 million dirhams. So these are the opportunities we should be opting into. If you look at the townhouse communities, right now in Arabian Ranches 3, which is not yet 100% developed. But let's talk about a 100% developed townhouse community. For example, Maple by Dubai Hills. Over there, a 3-bedroom is not less than a 4 million. So if you have an opportunity to buy in a new community, buy MR from starting 2 million, obviously there is a lot of margin available over there.
Wow, thank you so much for all those informations. And which one would you recommend for flipping?
So flipping properties, there are people always misunderstand. So for investments, there are two types of properties. Obviously, people sometimes misunderstand, and that's why they say our experience with Dubai real estate was not good. It's not about the experience. It's not. I don't blame on Dubai or Dubai developers or Dubai property market on that. I would blame the broker or the client himself who chose X property just for a reason, for a fact that he was not, 100% aware about the market, or he did not study the market well. So for flipping, you always pick up a property which is limited in supply. That is the property which is always high in demand for flipping. But when you're buying something which is where you have high supply, so for example, when I'm looking to buy a property to flip, I will not go and buy the cheapest villa in a community or the cheapest apartment in a building. I have to pick the premium property. So if it's a community, let's suppose if it's a golf course community or if it's a lagoon community, then my villa should be facing the lagoon, but not on a walking distance to lagoon. Because if a lagoon community is coming up over there, and let's suppose there are 4,000 units in the community, out of 4,000, maybe only 200 units will be facing the lagoon.
Exactly.
So obviously the units which are less in supply would be higher in demand. But if I am somebody who would say, no, the villa on the lagoon is costing 10 million, I want to buy multiple units which are coming for 2 million, which are also closer from lagoon, and thinking about flipping them, okay, you can flip them, but you cannot expect like those 200 or 300% capital gains, which sometimes you can get. And it happened in Dubai Hills. It happened in multiple situations. So that is why when you are picking a property to flip, you should always pick up the project, or pick up, let's suppose if even within a project, let's suppose there are 4,000 units in a project, but you should pick the special units, and which are always on the higher side. So even let's say average price per square foot in that area is, let's say 1,000, but the premium property, let's say a lagoon facing or a golf course facing property, is coming 1,500 dirham per square foot. It still makes sense because it's limited in supply, and you can ask any price for it. I still remember Marsal Arab villas. Back in 2019, they were sold at 40 million, but there are only 8 in the market, 8 in the whole Dubai. These days, people are asking for 300 million.
Wow.
Just because if it's one of its kind. So it's always like that. Whenever you pick up something which is limited in supply, it will always have higher demand, and that is the best property for flipping. Yeah, on the other side, if you pick up other properties, they are also good for flipping, but those can give you like 30, 40%, 50% in the best scenario. But the property which is limited in supply, 40, 50% is the worst case scenario. That could happen even within 1 year as well, and you paid only 30% and the price, and it is selling with premium of 30%. And this is what we do with investors, with multiple. I have multiple examples of, for example, District 1. District 1, the projects, the property could in District 1 West, the first phase, before even the District 1 West Phase 2 was launched, it was in the market available for 20% premium, where the investors have paid only 30, 40%. So things like that. So flipping properties, you have to be very specific with the broker or with your broker, and your broker has to be educated enough to identify which property is good for flipping and which property is good for ROI or for a rental income. If you are in a Dubai market and you are willing to invest in an off-plan project, so your expectations should not be 10, 20%. You should think beyond that, and Dubai market has the potential to deliver that. But it's just like if you're not picking up the right property, then obviously you can't do that.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I have one last question for you. Why would you recommend foreigners, investors to come here in Dubai and invest here in Dubai?
Well, For foreigners, I don't think so have to say much about it because look, Dubai market is totally dependent on foreign investments.
What would be a word of encouragement for them to come here and invest here?
Well, taxes. I think,
Yes.
I mean, you have zero taxes on income, on capital gain. I mean, if you talk about multiple countries, there is capital gain tax, there is property tax, there is income tax, there is this tax, there is that tax. You buy a car, you pay tax. You go out, you pay tax, whatever. Here, you don't pay tax. This is first. Second, better infrastructure. So obviously, if I'm comparing Dubai with some metropolitans like London or like New York or like Hong Kong or like, obviously, Dubai is offering better lifestyle. And it's much it's offering you much more value for money as compared to those metropolitans. So if I can still buy, so let's suppose if I have $1 million, what would I get in London? For example, a studio apartment that's on max in London Zone 1. Whereas still in Dubai market, we can buy a 2-bedroom apartment next to Burj Khalifa for a $1 million, or even in Burj Khalifa itself. So obviously, this is one part of it. The second, the ROI. Dubai is a growing market. So within the next year, for the next 10 years, we are looking at the growth happening in Dubai. So when you participate in the growing market, so you always make the capital gain. This is one. Where in the world you have a minimum of 7% rental income from your real estate with zero income, zero tax. So these are some things which encourages actually foreign investors to come and invest in Dubai. So you don't pay tax, your minimum rental income is 7%, and then you have opportunity to make some capital appreciation as well on top of what you're doing. And then obviously you can participate on those off-plan projects where you can take the advantage of the payment plans. And then answering your previous question, that flipping properties. So basically, these payment plans are facilitators to the investors. They facilitate the investors to flip the properties at the right point. So I can give you example that, okay, if you buy project in off-plan property, let's suppose, and you have a payment plan of 50-50. Obviously, that is the best scenario ever because you are paying over the three years of time, let's suppose, only 50%. And once you know that the property is going to hand it over within 6 months from now, you can put it on market, and even if the price has gone up to 20% or 25%, you are making 50% on what you have paid. In which kind of investment you can do that?
Exactly. Thank you so much for responding to all those questions. So if you are interested in knowing more about Dubai real estate market, please follow us.